Chapter
MK
201, Reunion.
So Phong and Van Han stayed in the new shelter, preparing to test the wall stove built earlier in the day. Earlier they had gone into the forest to collect mugwort leaves, and so Phong even picked extra incompatible herbs to avoid suspicion. After finishing they returned before dark, finding the stove nearly ready, and decided to test it.
Can we light the fire? Van Han asked softly. Yes, go bring a torch from the old shelter. So Phong replied. All right.
She soon returned with a half-burning log. So Phong accepted it, stuffed dry grass inside, and flames quickly roared. The once dim shelter lit up, the fire grew stronger, and the round clay lid began to glow. In the old shelter, smoke often filled the place and caused discomfort. I will move some firewood here, tonight we cook dinner. Van Han smiled, eager to try the new stove. She hurried outside to fetch wood before dark. Watching her excitement, So Phong chuckled and checked the stove seal. Van Han skipped toward the old hideout. Sister, there is light, someone must be here. I see. That rustling sound is clear. Louis Meng and Louis Thursday whispered as they pushed through bushes, stepping out at the forest edge. Their eyes met Van Han's. The scene fell into silence and slight awkwardness. Louis Meng, leaning on her cane, widened her eyes. Oh, is this not that little girl? She still remembered Van Han, the youngest challenger. Seeing her again, Louis Meng felt oddly relieved. Van Han frowned in surprise. Why are you here? Twins were rare, especially as beautiful as them, so she recalled clearly. May we have some water? Louis Thursday asked softly, quickly gathering from a banana stem. Van Han, what is it? So Fong's voice sounded. He came out and froze at the sight of the sisters. They want some water. Van Han explained. Louis Thursday bit her lip, face slightly embarrassed. All right. Van Han nodded obediently, returning to fetch water. Long time no see. Louis Meng waved awkwardly with a faint smile. Long time no see. So Phong smiled back, asking, Why are you here? Just then Van Han brought 2 bamboo tubes of water. Mint water? Louis Thursday's eyes lit up, tasting the fresh cool mint. What about her leg? So Phong noticed Louis Meng leaning on a cane, one leg raised. Just a small stumble, nothing serious. She hopped a little to show, but pain quickly made her frown. Could we perhaps stay here for one night? Louis Thursday worried about her sister, sighed and admitted, Tomorrow we will leave. Her sister was tired, hungry, injured, night had fallen, searching again was impossible. Most important, water was here. So Phong did not agree immediately, instead asked, First tell me, why are you here? Let us sit and talk. Van Han suggested. They sat by the creek, and Louis Thursday briefly explained with a helpless look. So that is what happened. Van Han nodded. You may stay for the night. So Phong thought then nodded, helping them was not a problem. Louis Thursday breathed out and said sincerely, Thank you, we will leave early tomorrow. Louis Meng stayed silent, watching her sister and So Phong speak, lips pressed. You can stay over there, we did not tidy further today. Van Han smiled, pushing open the thorn gate. The old shelter only had a wooden hut, a rabbit, and some wood left, the rest moved to the new place. Oh, that is also a shelter? Louis Meng widened her eyes at the shabby hut, then closed her mouth. 2 shelters? Louis Thursday exclaimed, she thought the larger one was the only home. She had not expected them to build 2. Louis Thursday sighed in relief, calmer now. She quickly brought a bamboo basket. We have mangoes, let us share some. Yes, we brought mangoes too. Louis Meng agreed, offering ripe mangoes and a red flower. Chapter 202, Understanding on Your Own. Van Han glanced at the bamboo basket full of dried mango, her lips curled slightly as she turned to look at So Phong. His gaze met hers, and with a faint smile he said, Just take a few. He could tell the girl truly wanted to eat the dried mango, her eyes were sparkling.
All right, then let us take the best ones. Van Han smiled softly at the two girls, reaching into Lu Wai Thursday's basket to take 5 pieces of dried mango.
The dried mango was not large, cut from a fresh fruit and sun-dried. One mango could yield 2 or 3 pieces.
This feels a bit embarrassing. Van Han blushed, holding the pile of dried mango with both hands. It is nothing, we should be the ones to thank you for letting us stay the night. Lu Wai Thursday shook her head. It was just convenient.
So Phong smiled. Their old hideout was already empty, letting them stay one night did not matter.
Van Han noticed Lu Waimong's leg was swollen. She quickly said, "Her leg is still hurt, you should go rest inside." "All right."
Lu Wai Thursday did not refuse, guiding her sister through the thorn fence.
"Come on, let us cook, tonight we even have dried mango."
Van Han carried the fruit, smelling its aroma, feeling joyful.
"If you like, we can trade for something later." So Phong chuckled, perhaps the girl had eaten too much meat lately and now longed for fruit. "Let us save it for now."
Van Han shook her head. They returned to the hideout, where the fire in the wall stove was still burning.
"Oh no, I forgot the firewood,"
Van Han exclaimed when she saw the fire. She set the dried mango on the wooden table, then hurried outside.
"Sister, this hideout seems better than our bamboo grove."
Lu Waimong leaned on her stick, watching the wooden hut.
"It does feel safer." Lu Wai Thursday nodded in agreement. The thorn fence offered strong protection. Lu Waimong spotted 2 bamboo cages, curiously peeked in, then cried out, "Sister, there are rabbits here."
Indeed, more than 10 rabbits were inside, some newborn. They looked so cute. Rabbit meat must taste
books.
Delicious.
Lu Waimong's eyes shone, secretly swallowing her saliva.
They are raising them, do not think foolishly.
Lu Wai Thursday tapped her sister's head, scattering her thoughts.
She too wanted rabbit meat, but since they were guests, it was improper.
What if we traded dried mango for a rabbit? They are fatter than bamboo rats.
Lu Waimong licked her lips with desire. No, tomorrow we leave and may not find food, the mango must be saved. Lu Wai Thursday said firmly. She had decided they would leave at dawn, search for a new hideout, and keep the mango for the journey. Besides, dried mango could not compare to a rabbit, others might not even agree to trade, so it was better not to embarrass themselves.
All right.
Lu Waimong pouted, realizing mango would not fetch a rabbit.
Are you resting yet?
From outside the fence, Van Han called.
Not yet. Lu Wai Thursday answered, then opened the gate. I came to take firewood.
Van Han smiled, heading to the pile, picking large logs and tying them with rope.
Lu Waimong, chewing mango, asked curiously, "Do you plan to keep the rabbits forever?" "Yes, we only eat them if we run out of food."
Van Han lifted the logs, smiling, "Rest early."
All right.
Lu Wai Thursday helped her open the gate. Van Han carried the logs back.
So Phong was flipping the round stove lid.
Tonight let us make wild pork stew with mixed herbs, plus a wild green salad. Van Han placed the wood by the stove.
Whatever the cook makes, I will eat. So Phong smiled.
She carefully opened the lid, set the iron pot on, poured water from the jar, and began dinner. He took the herbs they dug today, chose those for insect repellent, covered the camera, and placed them into a bamboo tube. So Phong was making repellent, or else tonight they would not sleep well. He stirred and crushed the herbs with a stick.
Though unfinished, mosquitoes already flew away.
Soon the herbs became a paste, dark green liquid pooling at the bottom. He stepped outside, added a gray coal, and mixed again.
Once the
mixture turned muddy, he stopped, rolled it into lumps, hid most in a corner, and kept some to replace the old paste on their skin.
So Phong, dinner is ready. Van Han called. All right.
He replied. The girl had set the table, hot pork stew steaming, wild green salad, tofu cake, and dried mango on the wooden table.
So Phong sat on the stool, looking at the feast, surprised. So rich tonight?
We moved to a new place today, of course we celebrate.
Van Han laughed and sat down, giving him another bowl of stew.
Yes, we should celebrate. So Phong smiled. Life needed small rituals, otherwise the wilderness was too dull. He picked up a piece of wild pork, chewed slowly, savoring the joy of having meat every meal.
Chapter 203, The Way of Treating Others.
Behind the thorn fence, Lu Yimeng and Lu Yizhu sat by the fire, chewing on dried mango slices. On the fire, the iron pot was boiling with water and a few bamboo shoots, which would be their late dinner.
So dry. Lu Yimeng chewed while glancing at the rabbit in the bamboo cage inside the wooden hut.
Stop looking, that is not our rabbit. She snapped, stirring the bamboo shoots with a wooden stick, finally able to rest a little.
Lu Yimeng sniffed lightly and whispered, "Sister, do you smell something?" Lu Yizhu paused, sniffed, "It seems like meat, it smells so good."
She looked at the mango slice in her hand and suddenly felt tasteless.
"Sister, what do you think So Phong and the others are eating? Could it be lots of meat?"
Lu Yimeng pushed the thorns slightly aside, peeking at the stone shelter, clicking her tongue.
"I do not know."
Lu Yizhu's lips twitched, the smell of meat was truly tempting.
"Oof."
Lu Yimeng sighed, closed the thorn gate, hopped back to the fire, staring at the mango slice in her hand, then glanced at the pot of bamboo shoots. Next to her, she gazed longingly at the rabbit in the bamboo cage, then sighed. In the live room, comments poured in.
"So pitiful, smelling meat but only eating vegetables."
So Phong is really living, the twins are only surviving.
"I just checked, So Phong eats so well, the difference is huge."
At the hideout, Van Han chewed on dried mango with satisfaction.
"Eat the meat first, keep the mango for later." So Phong smiled.
He planned to find more fruits later, only eating meat was not good, vitamins were needed.
"Okay." Van Han obediently put down the mango, picked up chopsticks, and ate a piece of meat.
She looked at the boiling pot of pork, chewing, then stopped suddenly.
So Phong noticed and asked, "What is wrong?"
Van Han bit her lip, hesitated, shook her head, "Nothing."
"You want to invite them to eat, right?"
So Phong guessed her thought. People often feel compassion for the weak, unless they are numb or selfish to the extreme. Van Han blushed, resting her chin, chewing silently. She did want to invite them, remembering how the Lu sisters had shared dried mango despite their poverty.
"Let us go."
So Phong smiled, patting her head. Her little kindness, he wished to preserve, and they still had plenty of meat.
"Really?"
Van Han widened her eyes.
"Yes, we cannot finish it all." So Phong nodded. "All right, I will invite them."
Van Han laughed, took a torch, and walked toward the thorn fence.
She called, "Are you still awake?" "Yes, wait, I will open the door." Lu Yizhu's voice came, then the thorn gate opened, and she asked, "Van Han, what is it?"
She stepped aside to let her in. Van Han entered, her eyes scanning the fire, then the bamboo cage. She whispered, "We cooked some food, please come eat with us."
"Ah, really?" Lu Yimeng's eyes lit up, about to say something.
Lu Yizhu shot her a look, then gratefully said, "No need, we are already full." She knew they had no intention, so she could not force it. Watching Van Han leave, Lu Yimeng turned to her sister pitifully, "Sister, we only ate one piece of mango.
NK book. Accepting others' kindness puts us in debt. Besides, they let us stay here for a night, we cannot take more."
Lu Yizhu said seriously, stirring the bamboo shoots.
"You are right, we should keep the peace." Lu Yimeng nodded, continuing to chew the dry mango. Van Han soon returned to the hideout, put away the torch, and sat down. They refused? So Phong guessed. Yes. Van Han sighed, recounting. Then give them some in a clay pot. So Phong smiled, thinking well of the sisters.
If it were others, they would shamelessly come to ask.
Ah. That works too.
Van Han agreed, fetched a clay pot, scooped pork into it, then added some tofu cake, balanced the dishes, and carried them out with the torch. So Phong smiled, watching her leave, impressed by her tact.
Louisu, I am back.
Van Han called outside the thorn fence.
Creak. The gate opened quickly. Louisu looked at her in surprise. Louisu wanted to refuse, but seeing the girl smile, she relented. This is embarrassing. Refusing again would be rude, and her kindness was genuine. It is nothing, thank you for giving us mango today. Van Han smiled warmly, waving. Wait a moment. Louisu said softly, taking the pot inside. Soon she returned with dried bamboo shoots. This is our dried bamboo. When cooked it tastes good, please try it. Then I will not be polite. Van Han hesitated, then accepted. Chapter 204, Worthy of Praise. Lu Wai Thursday watched Van Han's departing back and quietly closed the thorny gate. Sister, even in the wild there is mung bean cake to eat. Lu Wai Mong looked in surprise at the ceramic table with a pot holding green cakes. Is this really mung bean cake? Lu Wai Thursday was astonished, looking closely to see each green block was indeed cake. How is this made? Lu Wai Mong was puzzled, wondering how such cake could be made in the wild. I do not know either. Lu Wai Thursday shook her head. She pushed the ceramic table, and steam along with a meaty aroma spread out. By firelight she saw pork stew inside the pot and swallowed, whispering, Sister, there is meat. Is this pork? Lu Wai Thursday swallowed nervously. Sister, here are chopsticks. Lu Wai Mong fetched a bamboo pair and handed them to her sister. Then she picked a piece of boar meat, put it in her mouth, and chewed with satisfaction. Lu Wai Thursday also tasted one, savoring its distinct flavor. Earlier with bamboo rats, the meat was fishy and bland. Do they even have salt? Lu Wai Mong exclaimed, recalling earlier meals without any salt. Perhaps So Phong boiled seawater for salt. Lu Wai Thursday guessed, then eagerly took another bite, first time enjoying such delicious food in the wild. There is wild ginger, lemon, greens, and black fungus too. Lu Wai Mong recognized many ingredients in the stew. It seems resources here are good. Tomorrow we should find a place to build shelter. Lu Wai Thursday pondered. Thinking of Li Huan and Truong Chan Hua, she clenched her teeth in anger. Taste the cake. Lu Wai Thursday picked a piece, chewed twice, and exclaimed, soft and sweet, there is honey. Honey again? Lu Wai Mong quickly grabbed a piece and also tasted the honey. Let me have another piece. Lu Wai Thursday moved to take more. Leave some for me. Lu Wai Mong pouted with her mouth still full. As they fought over it, the cakes were gone. Sweets indeed make girls happy. Let us mix bamboo shoots in the stew. Lu Wai Mong suggested. All right. Lu Wai Thursday agreed, adding shoots into the pot. Soon the pork stew was finished too. Eating meat feels so good. Lu Wai Mong patted her belly. Lu Wai Thursday tapped the pot in surprise. Even this pot and dish, they made themselves. She marveled that in the wild one could live so well. In the monitoring room, people discussed. Indeed, So Phong still proves skilled. No Tin Noyet chuckled and looked at Von Lam. Cough, it is just one night with some food, for So Phong it is not much. Von Lam replied lightly. The Lu sisters also know when to advance or retreat, not relying entirely, that is worth learning. Ha Min's face softened, praising, and Van Han, So Phong sharing food, that deserves praise. Tay Bai Din pressed her lips, thinking the sisters shared their precious food, truly rare since they had only mangoes and bamboo shoots left. I wonder how things will develop next. No Tin Noyet said curiously. Let us keep watching. Ha Min smiled. In the new shelter, Van Han was cleaning dishes. We must go back to the sea, bamboo is gone. So Phong sighed, last time he had used it all for the roof. He planned to fetch more and adjust drainage to build a fence, making a small yard. Yes, then tomorrow we go. So Phong nodded. The girl sat at the wooden table, stripping banana bark to make thread, preparing new clothes for him.
So Phong held an axe, intending to make a small wooden rack for jars. He cut pine into 4 legs 1.5 meters long, then 6 rods 2 meters long, and 6 half a meter. He tied them with rope. He cut the rest into pieces about 2 meters long, lined them on the frame, and secured tightly.
So Phong, this rack is big enough to be a bed. Van Han laughed. It did look like a small bed. Bigger can hold more things. So Phong smiled.
He placed the rack against the wall. The girl quickly set jars on it.
Looks tidier now.
Van Han clapped her hands happily, seeing everything neatly arranged.
Chapter 205, The First Trial.
Early in the morning the sky was gloomy, rain fell in the forest soaking everything around.
Sister, it is raining.
Lu Waimong opened her hazy eyes, hearing the drops falling on the leaves.
So it really rains.
Lu Wai Thursday
NK
sighed,
books.
scratching her messy hair. The two sisters had rested early last night. After days of poor sleep they finally slept soundly. Lu Waimong looked blankly at her sister, rubbed her eyes and asked, "It rains, do we still go?"
Not for now, the rain makes it hard for you to walk. Lu Wai Thursday hesitated and said, "If you fall again and sprain the other foot, what then?" "Then I will sleep a bit more."
Lu Waimong yawned, not having enough sleep, and lay down again.
Really? Lu Wai Thursday angrily slapped her sister's hip.
No, Lu Waimong muttered, then turned over to continue sleeping. She carried an iron pot, pushed open the thorn gate, put on a hood and stepped into the rain to fetch water. Her feet sank into the mud, then she returned to the wooden hut, hung the pot on the wooden hook and began to boil water. She turned back to look at her sleeping sister, suddenly lost in thought. In the new shelter, So Phong and Van Han lay on the big bed. Last night was their first night here. Strangely, they both slept early without trouble. Van Han opened her eyes, glanced at So Phong still sleeping, her cheeks flushed. She carefully pulled her limbs away from him. She got up, dressed, put on shoes, picked up a wooden hairpin, tied her long hair, then carried the pot out. Outside was a drizzle. The roof was sealed with clay and thick straw.
It is raining.
Van Han drew her foot back, then changed into waterproof shoes, put on a hood, and carried the pot out. Passing the thorn fence, she glanced at the gate, then went to the ditch to wash the pot. So Phong opened his eyes, stretched in the sleeping bag, slowly got up, dressed and put on shoes. In his mind came the command, "Check in." A virtual screen appeared, the number 27 shone bright. It was past 12 hours, in 7 more days the check-in gift could be claimed. He looked around the shelter, not seeing Van Han, went to the window, propped it open with a stick, and light filled the room.
It rains.
So Phong looked outside at the falling drops, then quickly saw Van Han busy by the ditch.
Really?
He shook his head, turned and checked the shelter, looked at the roof to see if it leaked. Fortunately no water dripped, the roof was solid. He checked the 3 walls, no seepage, his heart felt at ease. This was the first rainy day since the shelter was built, and it passed the first trial. He felt lucky for finishing the roof early, otherwise today would be much harder.
Today the trip to the coast cannot be done. So Phong sighed. Tick-tack. So Phong, you are awake. Van Han entered, shaking off raindrops.
She put the pot on the wooden table, took off her wet jacket, and hung it on the hook of the pillar, where bows, hats and tools were also hung.
I will cook breakfast, eat some wild bananas first.
Van Han went to the corner, where a bamboo basket covered with banana leaves held the fruit. She lifted the leaves, revealing ripe bananas.
They are overripe.
So Phong came, carried the bunch and set it on the table.
Some skins had turned brown.
Cut the spoiled ones away, or they will crush the others.
Van Han cleaned bowls and laid them on the rack.
She added water to the pot to prepare breakfast.
All right.
So Phong smiled, used his short dagger to cut the fruits. So Phong, the chimney leaks, the fireplace is damp. Van Han crouched at the hearth, touched the wall, her hand blackened with wet ash. She tried to light a fire but it died quickly.
I forgot, the chimney has no rain cover. So Phong slapped his head with a bitter smile. Then what should we do? Van Han turned, her ash-stained hands striking. Then So Phong put on his white hat, took clay and a ladder to the chimney, carefully climbed up. He fixed 4 sticks with clay, then placed a flat stone on top. The sticks held the stone, letting the smoke escape. Chapter 206, The Main Dish. He stood up, brushed the ashes from his knees and said, "It should be fine." Okay. Van Han crouched down, grabbed dry grass and kept the fire going. Soon the flames rose, the grass caught quickly, and she fed branches and logs into the wall stove to prepare breakfast. So Phong peeled a wild banana, bit into the golden flesh and said, "Very sweet." He glanced at the busy girl, peeled another banana, and walked to the stove. "Open your mouth." He held it to her lips. "Ha! Let us finish them all today." So Phong smiled. Van Han glanced at the many bananas on the wooden table and sighed, "But if we eat too much, we will have diarrhea. Then slice and dry them, by tomorrow they will spoil." So Phong said, feeding her the rest of the banana. Many fruits could be dried, bananas cut and dried would be crunchy and sweet. Mum. Van Han chewed and nodded lightly, stirring the iron pot with a bamboo spoon. She sprinkled some salt. Today's breakfast was venison stewed with bamboo shoots and wild greens. Drip drop. It seems the rain will not stop today. Luai Thursday looked up at the dim sky through the hut's gaps. She glanced at her sleeping sister, brushed her hair gently, and carried a clay jar out of the hut. At the stream she washed it, scrubbed it with dry grass, dried it carefully, then looked at the smoke rising from the chimney nearby. After hesitating, she walked over. "Add some lemon slices, it will be better." Van Han stirred the stew, thought, then added 3 slices of lemon. So Phong shaved bamboo to craft tools for paper making. Rain left little else to do. The girl tasted the stew, nodded, then placed the pot on the wooden table. Turning to cover the stove, she saw Luai Thursday at the door. "Come in, it's raining." Van Han laughed, pulled her in, warning, "Careful, the doorway is low." Luai Thursday, taller, had to bend. Pulled inside, she was startled to find the place almost luxurious, with a big bed, a stove, and clean, dry walls. The floor was smooth, reddish like pottery, far better than expected for the wild. Thank you for last night's dinner." She quickly offered the clay jar. "No need, you also gave us mango and bamboo shoots." Van Han smiled, placing it aside. She seated Luai Thursday, poured her water. After a pause, Luai Thursday asked softly, "It is raining, my sister's leg is bad, may we stay another day?" So Phong set down his axe and nodded, "Of course, but I have a question." "What question?" she asked. "That Indian canna flower, where did you pick it, near the banana grove?" Without hesitation she told him. Seeing the bananas, she guessed he had been there, but did not know why he asked. "Do you know the roots of Indian canna can be eaten as staple food?" he asked with a smile. "Edible," she gasped, then shook her head. "So you did not know?" He nodded, then added, "I have a proposal, maybe you are interested." She frowned. "What proposal?" "You lead me to find the canna, we share it half, and I teach you to cook it as a main dish. What do you think?" He would not miss such a plant. "All right." After a pause, she nodded, thinking it a fine deal. Without him, she would not know the root was edible, nor how to prepare it. Van Han, hearing them, softly said, "Then join us for breakfast." No. Luai Thursday eyed the steaming pot, swallowed but resisted, "We have food." "Come eat, full stomach gives strength, digging canna is no easy task." So Phong smiled. She hesitated. "Fine." At last she nodded, turned back to fetch her sister, mumbling complaints as she went. Chapter 207, Speak Less, Eat More. She could not resist and slapped her younger sister's bottom, waking her up at once. Lu Yiming sat up with messy short hair, rubbed her sore hip,
and said pitifully, "Sister, what is it? Get up and wash your face, we are going to So Fong's place for breakfast." Louis Zhu rolled her eyes and spoke angrily. "Breakfast? Ah." Lu Yiming lazily stretched, then suddenly reacted, eyes wide in surprise. "Sister, did you just say we are going to So Fong's place for breakfast?" "Yes, hurry and get up, do not make others wait." Louis Zhu nodded and urged. Sister, tell me what happened." Lu Yiming scratched her messy hair while getting up. "Yesterday that Indian canna tree bloomed, its tuber can be made into staple food." Louis Zhu simply explained everything, while reminding her sister to keep her mouth shut later. "Got it, mouth shut, speak less, eat more." Lu Yiming joked, standing on one leg and leaning on her crutch. "You are asking for trouble." Louis Zhu's mouth twitched, clearly she never taught her that phrase. A bad feeling rose in her heart. Seeing her sister's stern look, Lu Yiming quickly waved and laughed. Hee, just kidding, let's go." With Louis Zhu's support, the two soon reached the new hideout. Entering, Lu Yiming widened her eyes, looked around at the arrangement inside, even more astonished. "Morning, little." Lu Yiming waved to greet, but stopped halfway when a sharp pain at her waist forced her mouth shut. "Sorry to keep you waiting," Louis Zhu said with guilt, withdrawing her hand from her sister's waist. Seeing them arrive, Van Han smiled and signaled, "Sit down quickly." She had just found 2 large logs for them as seats. "All right." Louis Zhu helped her sister sit down and sat herself beside her. Van Han handed them 2 bamboo bowls, adding another bowl of venison before them. "Thank you." Both sisters spoke at once, the venison aroma made them secretly swallow saliva. "Sister, so much meat," Lu Yiming whispered. "Eat quickly, cold meat is not tasty." So Phong saw her bright eyes, lips lifting slightly as he chewed venison. "Van Han, did you cook this?" Lu Yiming mumbled while chewing, "So good, much better than my sister." "If you like it, eat more." Van Han smiled like a flower, happy her cooking was praised. "All right." Lu Yiming puffed her cheeks, nodded, and stuffed another piece of venison into her mouth. Louis Zhu's eye twitched, feeling all her warnings wasted. Wu Tingyue's long lashes trembled, surprised. Why are the Lu sisters eating breakfast with So Fong? On the screen appeared So Fong and the Lu sisters sharing breakfast. "Seems something happened earlier today," Ha Min mused. Observers in the control room started spamming comments. Viewers quickly described the morning scene, and the observers suddenly understood. It counts as an exchange. So Fong provides skills, the Lu sisters provide resources, both sides benefit. Ha Min said calmly. "What is an Indian canna?" Wu Tingyue asked, seeing the chat filled with it but not knowing. She tilted her head. "Does Teacher Wan know?" "Let's keep watching, they will depart soon," Ha Min replied politely. Soon the 4 finished breakfast. Louis Zhu helped clean the dishes. Lu Yiming sat at the wooden table, eyes glancing at wild bananas on it. "Eat if you want." So Fong smiled. No need." Lu Yiming quickly waved, lips pressed. He saw she was afraid of Louis Zhu. "Then I will eat one." Seeing her sister gone, Lu Yiming sighed in relief, grabbed 1 banana and ate. "That is soap," Van Han whispered. This is soap?" Louis Zhu's eyes widened. "Yes, So Fong made it, impressive, right?" Van Han smiled, using some soap to wash the iron pot. "So impressive, even in the wild he can make soap, unbelievable." Louis Zhu exclaimed, also taking some soap to help wash. "Let me tell you, So Fong knows much more, he can even make fire." Van Han smiled while chatting. So Fong is really capable. Louis Zhu nodded thoughtfully. Many things sounded simple, but doing them was different, at least she could not. Soon they finished washing and returned to the hideout, seeing Lu Yiming still eating bananas, 2 peels already on the table. Sister, you are back."
Lu Yiming shyly swallowed, still smacking her lips. Oh dear.
Lu Yizhu felt helpless. How could her
NK
sister be so
books.
shameless, too embarrassing?
Pack up, we are leaving. So Phong smiled.
At first Lu Yiming only planned to eat one, but ended up eating 3.
Van Han finished tidying and pouted. So Phong, I want to go too.
Alright, be careful on the way, come back early.
So Phong gently nodded, reminding her to stay safe. Chapter 208, Such Great Courage.
Lu Wai Thursday shot a glare at her younger sister and then turned to say, I will go back for the bow, arrows, and the bamboo basket. You do not need the big basket, take this small one, it is easier to carry. Van Han brought a small basket from the corner and placed it before her.
All right. Lu Wai Thursday nodded and carried the basket to the old hideout to get their gear. Be careful. Van Han warned again. I know. So Phong answered firmly and took his bamboo bow toward the old hideout.
Lu Wai Thursday also shouldered her basket and carried her bow and arrows out. Her bow was made from carbon fiber and seemed sturdier than So Fong's bamboo bow, and she had 5 matching arrows in a quiver.
Let us go.
So Phong said with a small smile.
Yes. Lu Wai Thursday nodded and followed the same path as yesterday. Rain dripped in steady drops.
He walked behind, the rain hitting leaves and then falling onto them, though their jackets kept them mostly dry.
Do you know of a nearby spot suitable for building a shelter? Lu Wai Thursday asked thoughtfully because when the sky cleared they would need a new place to live.
I have not scouted much, I have not found a really good spot.
Lu Wai Thursday's face changed and she blurted out, Are there bears and red wolves nearby?
The question made her uneasy. She had already thought meeting red wolves was dangerous and now bears as well. From books and shows she knew a bear could crush a head with a single paw.
Could they still set up near here? You have a lot of courage. Lu Wai Thursday smiled bitterly and secretly admired the bravery of So Phong and Van Han for staying so long where bears and wolves appeared.
If we are careful we will be fine, and maybe with luck we could even take down a bear.
So Phong smirked, already forming a plan.
He had not told them a bear had once come near the camp to avoid scaring everyone.
Hey, that joke is not funny.
Lu Wai Thursday frowned, the idea of killing a bear felt unrealistic.
If we hunt one, we could have a fur coat to wear.
So Phong said lightly.
Lu Wai Thursday fell silent, unsure whether to praise his bravery or call him reckless, since this was a bear.
They walked on in silence and after a while reached the foot of a hill by a large patch of Indian canna plants. Suddenly So Phong stopped and signaled for Lu Wai Thursday to hold still.
She whispered, What is it? We might find extra food today.
He smiled and pointed forward. Following his finger, she spotted a plump pheasant and her eyes brightened as she whispered, A fat pheasant.
So Phong was quiet and raised his bamboo bow to shoot. Are you sure? Do you want to use my bow? Lu Wai Thursday asked softly, eyeing his bow and then offering her stronger bow and an arrow. Today I will treat you to roasted pheasant.
So Phong frowned but accepted her bow and arrow.
Whether we eat depends on your aim.
Lu Wai Thursday pressed her lips and did not expect much.
Do not worry.
So Phong smiled and smoothly drew the carbon bow and knocked the arrow. Surprise flashed in Lu Wai Thursday's eyes as his technique proved different and assured. He squinted, aimed at the pheasant, and released without hesitation.
The arrow flew through the rain and struck the bird's leg, pinning it. A hit, impressive. Lu Wai Thursday exclaimed and ran after him. We have luck today.
So Phong picked up the pheasant. The arrow had only pierced a leg so it still struggled. He removed the arrow, rinsed it in a rain puddle, handed it to Lu Wai Thursday, and then tied up the bird with a rope. A big fat bird, we will have meat today. She watched eagerly. Come, dig up the canna quickly and then return, if the bird dies it will spoil the meat. So Phong said with a smile and tossed the bird into the basket. They walked back to the patch the sisters had found earlier. Such a large patch, it will feed us for a long time. So Phong said as he took a soldier's spade and assessed the ground.
The tuber roots are what matter,
he said and drove the spade in to pry out a
plant.
He crouched and brushed soil aside to reveal the tubers. Each plant had 7 or 8 tubers, each about the size of a chicken egg.
So that is how it is. Lu Y Thursday nodded with attention.
Without the spade, digging would be much slower and might take 1 or 2 hours.
All right.
She set down her utility knife and used her hands to collect and rinse the tubers in the rain. They worked with clear rolls and moved much faster, the plants thinning and leaves piling on the ground. After more than half an hour, So Phong had dug them all up, packed the tubers into the basket, and cut many stems and leaves to bundle for carrying home.
Chapter 209, Knows Medicine Too. This is paper material, I will take it back first.
So Phong replied casually. In his experience of paper making, he recalled that the Indian canna tree was mentioned, its branches and leaves could be used for paper making.
Ha! You can make paper? Lu Y Thursday asked in surprise.
Just a little, but only practice will show if it works. So Phong said cautiously.
I see. Lu Y Thursday nodded thoughtfully. 2 bamboo baskets quickly filled with canna roots, many more could not fit.
So Phong wedged branches at the basket mouth, using leaves to enlarge the space, then carried all the roots.
Let's go back.
So Phong lifted the basket, his arm also holding a bundle of branches. Lu Y Thursday also carried hers, lucky it was small or she could not stand. On the way back, halfway through, So Phong stopped, staring at a tree nearby.
Lu Y Thursday asked doubtfully, So Phong, what is it? Another pheasant?
No, it is a medicinal herb.
So Phong smiled, pushed through bushes, squatted, and dug up a green herb with a small shovel.
Books. What herb is this?
Lu Y Thursday frowned, she did not know it.
Tiger cane, it activates blood and dissolves stasis. So Phong shook off soil, put it in the basket, and said softly, Your sister's foot hurts, tiger cane mixed with other herbs can heal it quickly.
Tiger cane root promotes circulation, relieves stasis, clears meridians, calms pain. Hearing this, Lu Y Thursday froze, asking, You want to treat my sister's foot?
Just found the last needed herb, using it as a poultice will be best.
So Phong smiled. Other herbs left from insect powder making were enough. Lu Y Thursday took a breath, said solemnly, Thank you. No problem, you helped me too.
So Phong waved it off, these canna roots were their largest harvest yet.
Hurry up. He walked on.
Lu Y Thursday sighed, owing another favor, and followed quickly.
After half an hour, they reached the hideout. Lu Y Mong wore a white hat guarding, saw them and called, They are back. Inside, the girl dropped her work and ran out.
So Phong put the basket by the ditch, carried the pheasant inside, Lu Y Thursday followed.
Are you two all right? Yes, very smooth. So Phong weighed the pheasant, laughed, This one is fatter than before. Earlier he had killed one with a stone, this was the second and even fatter. So fat.
Lu Y Mong exclaimed, It looked like a domestic chicken.
Thanks to your help, otherwise it might escape. So Phong smiled, watching her bright eyes. Sister, really? Lu Y Mong asked.
Yes, So Phong shot from 50 meters, his archery is far better than yours.
Lu Y Thursday nodded, remembering her sister only hit prey by luck. So strong?
When my foot heals, I will spar.
Lu Y Mong pouted. Any time. So Phong smiled, someone seemed unconvinced.
But who knows when it heals?
Lu Y Mong sighed. Better apply medicine. So Phong chuckled, washed the tiger cane, cut it, put it in a bamboo tube, stirred with a stick. Ah? What are you doing? Lu Y Mong asked curiously. Preparing to heal your foot, be quiet.
Lu Y Thursday tapped her head.
Lu Y Mong blinked, then asked, Heal my foot? So Phong knows medicine too?
He blocked her view, added herbs, stirred until green paste formed.
Done, come sit. So Phong called. Okay.
Lu Waimong obeyed, sitting on a wooden chair. So Phong applied the green paste on her swollen ankle, then wrapped with dried banana bark. No cloth, so use that.
How does it feel? So Phong asked. Cold and less painful.
Lu Waimong said in surprise, her lashes trembled, her foot felt better.
Yes, 2 days will suffice, the paste is enough. So Phong handed the tube. Rest well, do not move.
He smiled, then went to handle the canna roots.
Chapter 210, Truly Embarrassing.
The sky was dim and gloomy, with drizzle still falling. So Phong pulled up his hood and left the shelter, heading to the ditch to handle some Indian canna roots.
Sit still, do not jump around. Lu Wai Thursday tilted her head and reminded her younger sister. She also put on her hood and followed So Phong to the ditch. Do we work here? Lu Wai Thursday asked.
Wash the mud once, then process inside.
So Phong poured the basket of Indian canna roots into the ditch. Boom boom.
Seeing Lu Wai Thursday look confused, So Phong knew the ditch was narrow, only enough for one person. He pushed half a basket of roots to her and said, "Take these back first." Letting someone just stand and watch was not comfortable, especially when depending on others, it could cause guilt. They washed the roots and carried them to the doorway, where the roof provided cover, so they worked there to avoid dirtying inside. Rustle rustle. So Phong sat on a stone at the entrance, holding a bamboo shard, peeling the roots. He scraped off the skin and rotten spots, revealing yellow flesh similar to wild ginger. Lu Wai Thursday quietly squatted down, imitating him, peeling roots and putting them in the basket. So Phong set aside some small roots for later.
So Phong, what are these for? She asked curiously.
Since they had to survive a year in the wild, Indian canna could be harvested in months. He planned to open land around the shelter to plant herbs, wild greens, and other plants.
In the wild, the most important thing for survival is continuous food. So Phong looked up and said, "Yes."
Lu Wai Thursday nodded, knowing that without food shortage, she and her sister would not have come here.
She kept peeling and after a moment asked, "So Phong, where did you learn this?" "At the orphanage, old Gardwine liked to do such things."
So Phong explained with a smile.
"Orphanage," she murmured in surprise.
"Yes, both I and Van Han came from there," he answered while still working quickly.
"I see."
She pursed her lips and lowered her head. She had not expected they were orphans, no wonder they were so self-reliant.
"Where is she?" So Phong asked curiously.
"While you washed roots, she fell asleep on the wooden table," Van Han said with a smile. In fact, Lu Waimong was too tired, her injured leg kept her from sleeping well, fearing elimination. The pain often woke her, leaving her sleep short. Now with So Fong's herbs, she felt at ease and dozed off.
Haze.
Lu Wai Thursday twitched her brow, her sister was like a little pig. She turned to look inside, seeing her sister slumped on the wooden table facing the door, lips slightly curved. Let her sleep, with her leg hurting she cannot rest well.
So Phong gestured. Truly embarrassing.
Lu Wai Thursday said awkwardly.
No problem, this place is not big enough anyway. So Phong whispered. The small porch was barely enough for 3 people.
They quickly processed the roots, nearly an hour to finish 2 baskets.
NK books.
They washed them again and stored them inside. No Lu Wai Mong mumbled in sleep.
Wake up now. Lu Wai Thursday dropped the basket and angrily ruffled her sister's hair. Not only not helping, she even slept full.
She rolled her eyes, helpless. So Phong laughed, put down the basket, then went outside to pick some clean stones, washed them, and brought them back.
So Phong, what next? Van Han squatted and asked. We must grind all the roots.
He spread banana leaves on the ground, placed stones, and began grinding roots into paste. The paste slid onto leaves and was placed into a jar of water.
Ground canna turned brown, looking very different from whole roots. I see, I want to grind too. Van Han said and imitated. It is like grinding soy milk. Lu Wai Thursday said while grinding. Looks fun, I want to join. Lu Wai Mong excitedly said, hopping on one leg. Be careful. Lu Wai Thursday quickly supported her, helping her sit. No problem, my leg feels much better, she said happily. With 4 people working, they finished grinding in an hour, filling a small jar with thick paste. Next is filtering the residue. So Phong said, using a cloth and bamboo tube. He placed some paste in, added water and stirred. The brown water flowed through cloth into another jar, leaving dry brown fiber residue. Chapter 211, Fully Utilized. Van Han's beautiful eyes sparkled as she softly asked, when will this be finished? The bamboo tube was narrow, holding only a little mud at a time. At this pace it might take until midnight to clear all the residue. Use the 3 cloth pieces left. So Phong thought for a while, then spoke quietly. Once part of his outdoor pants, now only 3 palm-sized cloth pieces remained. Using them meant that pair of pants was officially declared fully utilized. All right. Van Han nodded. She picked up the bamboo tube on the wooden rack and took out 3 cloth pieces. So Phong found 3 bamboo tubes, tied the cloth at one end with rope, then handed them to the Lu sisters. The sisters and the girl began to work. The brown water in one jar increased, while the mud in the other jar decreased. After watching a while, So Phong moved another small jar aside for reserve, otherwise one vat could not hold everything. He decided to build another kiln, fire more pottery jars and vats for future need. Time passed, all 4 were busy in the hideout. Outside, the rain stopped, but the sky grew darker. At this hour the sun had already set west. Finally all done. Lu Wai Mong shook her sore hands and sat on the wooden stool. Before her were 3 vats, 2 filled with brown water, filtered from Indian nuts residue. After settling it would yield powder. That powder was what So Phong needed, for staple food and also for cooling, detoxing, and strengthening. I will boil water and prepare to kill the chicken. Van Han set down the bamboo tube, added water to the iron pot and placed it on the wall stove. So Phong and Lu Wai Thursday carefully carried the vat to the wall, waiting for it to settle. Late at night, no stars could be seen. The forest after rain was soaked everywhere. The iron pot began to bubble. Van Han stood, lifted the bamboo cage and caught the gasping wild chicken. She firmly held its wings and head, plucked feathers at the neck to reveal skin. Sister Thursday, lend me the military knife, she said softly. Since working together, everyone became more familiar, even how they addressed each other changed. All right. Lu Wai Thursday answered, handing over the knife though her face was odd. A 16-year-old girl wanted to kill a chicken herself? Lu Wai Mong was also shocked, asking, Van Han, do you really want to kill it? I killed chickens before, I am not afraid. She smiled like a flower. She quickly cut the chicken's neck. It struggled, but she pressed it down. Blood poured into a prepared ceramic bowl. The bowl had water and salt. Water made the blood tender after boiling, salt helped it coagulate. Keep the long feathers, they will be used for arrows. So Phong came, plucked the long feathers to keep. When blood stopped, Van Han threw the chicken into an empty jar, poured boiling water over it. After soaking, feathers were easy to pluck. She squatted under the eaves, pulling feathers. Soon the girls cleaned the bird, then Van Han slit it open, removed organs and washed them. Kidneys can be grilled, intestines and liver cooked with blood, she muttered. The sisters recalled handling bamboo rats earlier. Compared to this girl with chicken, it was wasteful. The live stream chat filled with comments. This little lowly truly inherits the eating tradition of a great country. Without comparison, you cannot see, the sisters handling bamboo rats were wasteful. Each time I see the lowly kill chickens, I feel as a man I am inferior. Look at the dumb faces of the sisters. The viewers sent flowers. Seeing Lu Wai Mong dazed, Van Han thought she was hungry, and said with a smile, wait a bit, soon we can eat. She found wild ginger and lemon, stuffed them inside the chicken, rubbed salt outside. Is this place near the sea?
Lu Thursday asked quietly, looking at the fine salt in the bamboo. She nodded, planning to go see the sea and collect salt someday. Everything was arranged by the girl, even the clay oven was newly made.
All right. So Phong pulled out the clay oven, shoveled charcoal inside. No way, you. Lu Mong was stunned. What is it? So Phong asked. You even have an oven? Lu Thursday was amazed. She truly could not believe it. Why even an oven? That? Van Han made it. So Phong smiled. The sisters glanced at each other, feeling defeated. Clearly So Phong and Van Han were not surviving, but living well. I just thought of it, firing clay with charcoal makes pottery.
Van Han said, still working. She added water to the iron pot on the stove, preparing to cook blood and liver.
I will fetch water.
So Phong lifted the small jar,
NK
rinsed
books.
it, then prepared to go out for clean water before the night grew darker.
All right.
Van Han replied. She washed the wooden stick, skewered the chicken, set it on the oven. Then she sliced the liver and put it into the iron pot.
Do you need me to do anything? Lu Thursday asked, uneasy. Should she just wait to eat? Chapter 212, Women in the Conversation.
Van Han stirred the iron pot, then pointed at the wild bananas on the wooden table and said, Then help me slice the rest of these bananas, later we will grill them into dried slices.
All right. Lu Thursday replied softly and sat down by the table. I will help too. Lu Mong's eyes lit up as she grabbed a banana and started peeling. Lu Thursday squinted and warned in a low voice, Be careful, do not just think about eating.
No, I am not trying to sneak food.
Lu Mong answered aggrievedly. Good.
Lu Thursday sighed in relief, afraid her sister still thought she was back at school, casually sharing snacks with close friends. But now, in this wilderness, behavior had to change. She spread a clean banana leaf on the table and cut the peeled bananas into slices. It smells so good. So Phong returned carrying a small jar of water, placed it by the hearth in the wall. He looked at the roasting wild chicken, its skin golden, fat dripping onto the coals with a sizzling sound. It smells delicious. Lu Mong stared at the chicken, mouth watering. Wait a little longer and it will be ready. So Phong smiled, turning the chicken. He glanced at Lu Mong's injured leg and asked, How does your leg feel now? Tonight before sleeping I will change the medicine again, from tomorrow the swelling should go down. So Phong said softly. All right. Lu Mong replied. Van Han set the iron pot on the table, checked the chicken and whispered, It should be ready. She carefully placed the roasted chicken on a ceramic plate and cut it into pieces. The Lu sisters began setting the tableware. Go wash your hands, it is time for dinner. Van Han glanced at So Phong and nodded toward the water jar. All right. So Phong twitched his lips, thinking the girl was too strict, but still went to wash before sitting back down. Van Han ladled soup for everyone, with wild chicken liver, wild greens, and mushrooms. Lu Mong lifted the bamboo bowl, blew gently, sipped and her eyes lit up. She raised her thumb and praised, This is the first time I taste such delicious soup outdoors. It is really tasty. Lu Thursday also marveled, surprised they could enjoy such food in the wild. The cook has improved again. So Phong smiled in praise. Van Han blushed, quickly picked a piece of roasted chicken and said, Taste the chicken quickly, cold it will not be good. With others around, So Phong's praise embarrassed her. All right. Lu Thursday replied and put a piece in her mouth. The crispy skin and tender meat made her eat eagerly. In the future we should go into the forest more, maybe catch some more wild chickens. So Phong gnawed a wing, savoring the improved flavor since they had honey. Soon the four of them finished the chicken, still unsatisfied. I will wash the dishes. Lu Thursday stood up with a flushed face, feeling shy for eating so much. No need. Van Han stopped her and smiled gently, It is dark, washing outside is unsafe.
Well, alright. Lu Wai Thursday looked at the pitch-black night, thought of bears and wolves, and gave up. Seeing their awkwardness, So Phong offered them an out. Alright.
Lu Wai Thursday quickly nodded, helped her sister up, and thanked softly, "Thank you very much for hosting us tonight.
Take a torch with you, then you will not need to light a fire back there."
Van Han handed her a burning log.
She hesitated, then added, "Could you also feed the rabbit? There is grass in the wooden shed." "No problem."
Lu Wai Mong agreed immediately.
"Good night."
Lu Wai Thursday led her sister out.
"Good night." Van Han laughed brightly.
So Phong watched them leave, then closed the wooden door and tied it securely with rope.
"So Phong, would you like some pine leaf tea?" Van Han asked softly. "All right."
So Phong leaned against the pillar, still carving tools.
La la la.
Van Han hummed a folk tune, rinsed the iron pot, added water, and placed it on the hearth.
Ha ha.
So Phong chuckled and shook his head, seeing how the sister's presence had cheered her.
Perhaps she could now chat freely with other women. The Lu sisters returned to their shelter, used the torch to light a fire, illuminating the hut. "Sister, the rain has stopped, should we leave tomorrow?"
Lu Wai Mong leaned on her sister, preparing to change the bandage.
"We should leave."
Lu Wai Thursday frowned helplessly, "But today I heard from So Phong that there are bears and wolves nearby." She was hesitant, worried to disturb So Phong and Van Han if they stayed, but unsafe outside. She was not sure she could build such a safe shelter elsewhere.
"What? Bears and wolves?" Lu Wai Mong's eyes widened in fear. "Then what should we do? Van Han and So Phong are too daring."
Lu Wai Mong shivered, knowing how dangerous bears were. She recalled people saying never to provoke bears, as they were even fiercer than tigers.
"Let me think."
Lu Wai Thursday rubbed her temples, gazing into the fire as she pondered their next step.
Chapter 213, The wooden door is about to collapse.
She washed the engineer's shovel, dried it, cut wild bananas into slices and laid them evenly on it, finally placing it on the stove to roast. Van Han used chopsticks to flip the golden banana slices, softly saying, "If only we had sugar. If we could find wild sugarcane, then sugar could be made, but I fear this island has none."
So Phong smiled. "They are all roasted."
Suddenly from outside the shelter came a strange noise, as if something was moving. So Phong raised his brows, set down the bamboo piece, took the chopping axe and stood, eyes fixed on the wooden door, tilting his head to listen carefully. His hearing was now much sharper, catching even the slightest sound.
Van Han was frightened, whispering, "So Phong, what is it?" "Shoo, something is out there." So Phong murmured, gripping the axe tightly. The sounds outside grew clearer. The girl quickly stood, grabbed her bamboo bow and arrows, hid behind So Phong, and stared at the wooden door. Creak, creak.
Suddenly the door was struck violently, shaking several times.
"So Phong, what is it?"
Van Han's face paled, her hand with the bow trembled.
"Not sure yet."
So Phong said gravely, recalling the wild chicken he had handled earlier, perhaps the blood scent had attracted it.
A suspicion rose in his heart, though not confirmed. Roar! The door shook again as if something tried to break in. "Damn, it is a bear." So Phong scowled. Van Han's eyes widened, her voice trembling. "A bear outside?"
"Yes, that roar was from a bear, likely drawn by the chicken's scent." So Phong replied sternly, turning to grab the shovel, tossing the banana slices onto the wooden table.
"So Phong, what now? The door seems not so strong." Van Han grew more frantic, the once firm door was now wobbling under the bear's blows. "Do not fear, it will be fine." So Phong reassured gently, mind racing for knowledge. "Remind them." He called toward the old shelter, "Lu Wai Thursday, stay inside, do not come out, a bear is here." His voice carried, making the Lu sisters turn pale and cling together. "Sister, So Phong says a bear came, what now?" Lu Wai Meng trembled, quickly taking a torch from the fire. I do not know, add more wood, make the fire blaze higher. Lu Wai Thursday bit her lip, feeding wood into the fire. She knew bears fear fire, this was the only step left. Lu Wai Meng dropped the torch, gripped her bow, eyes fixed on the thorn gate, worriedly asking, will So Phong and Van Han be safe? Surely they will. Lu Wai Thursday swallowed nervously, unsure, only praying they could drive the bear away. Should we go help? Lu Wai Meng's hands sweated on the bow. Go out only to be eaten? Lu Wai Thursday replied bitterly. Lu Wai Meng gaped, indeed it would be suicide. A bear. No Tin Noyet paled hearing So Fong's voice through the live room. The broadcast erupted, comments filled with concern for him. Since all are worried, switch the camera to him. Ha Min said gravely. The director quickly moved the view to So Fong. Through the shelter camera, the wooden door shook violently, near collapse. The feed switched to the drone's view. Under night vision, a bear over 2 meters tall clawed the door, roaring, its nose sniffing around. Tai Vai Din frowned, his face growing tense. That door cannot stop a bear. Wang Lin said solemnly, his heart tight. Then what should be done? No Tin Noyet asked anxiously. Now only hope the bear leaves on its own, or So Fong and Van Han choose to withdraw from the contest. Wang Lin said in a deep voice, for only then could organizers send help. Life matters most, hurry and urge them to quit. No Tin Noyet pressed. The drone had a loudspeaker to broadcast words directly. So Fong, what to do, the rope on the door is breaking. Van Han cried in fear. Move the bed to block it. So Fong's eyes scanned, landing on the large bed. After finishing, he pulled Van Han behind the wooden table, gripping axe and shovel, eyes on the bed. Creak, creak. The door shook harder, bamboo pipes tore. Loose, the door tilted outward. In the observation room, panic spread. Heavens, the door is about to collapse. No Tin Noyet exclaimed, leaping up in shock. Chapter 214, A Bit of Charm. So Fong and Van Han tensely stared at the big bed, the sound of bear claws scratching the door made them extremely nervous. Shall we climb out through the window? Van Han gripped the bamboo bough tightly, veins bulging on her hand, glancing at the window that was wide enough for both. The window was fixed with clay and bamboo slats, with enough strength they could break it. We cannot outrun a bear. So Fong replied calmly, suppressing panic and thinking of a plan. So Fong, how about we light the door on fire, scare the bear, then put it out? Van Han said with a trembling voice. He strode to the fireplace, picked up the iron pot full of boiling water. Creak, creak. Just then, the wooden door bent inward under the bear's weight. Its head squeezed through the gap, and another paw clawed at the bed, making sharp sounds. Crack, crack. The bed shifted back, both faces changed drastically. Ah! Van Han turned pale, her legs weak, body trembling. Viewers erupted in comments. Oh damn, is the bear going to eat them alive? The bear is coming in, send bullet screen fast. My god, why have So Fong and Van Han not run, is the crew not stepping in? So Fong, kill the bear and take its fur, the code is delivered to you. Van Han, hide under the wooden table. So Fong said lowly, carrying the pot of hot water closer. The girl hesitated but obediently crawled under, lying on the ground watching anxiously. Ha! So Fong gritted teeth, splashed the boiling water toward the bed. Most was blocked, but some spattered through onto the bear's paw and head, steam rushing at it. Roar! The bear howled, frightened, retreating from the door, scratching its head. It worked! So Fong's eyes lit, he grabbed 2 burning logs. Through the bed gap, he stared at the bear, ready to throw the torch. Roar! The bear roared again, then turned, running into the dark forest. Viewers finally breathed out. Awesome, send gifts. Fish balls times 233. Little Witch, fish fins times 888. Scared me, thank goodness. So Phong now looks a bit handsome. So Phong, is the bear gone?
Van Han's eyes flickered with fear, ears straining, outside
NK
was
books.
quiet. Not sure, leave the bed blocking, tonight sleep on the ground. So Phong shook head, pushing the bed back tight against the door. He feared the bear still near, going out was reckless, the door damaged so only the bed could block.
All right. Van Han crawled out slowly, face pale with fear. Tomorrow we must build thorn fences.
So Phong patted her head gently. The fright pushed him to prioritize making fences. Van Han nodded repeatedly, patting chest nervously.
She suddenly remembered, said, remind sister Thursday in them. So Phong nodded, shouted, Lu Wai Thursday, are you safe?
Lu Wai Thursday and Lu Wai Mong stood near the fire, straining ears.
Hearing him, they were relieved. Lu Wai Mong glanced at sister, answered, we are fine, what about you?
We are fine too, the bear may be gone, but be careful, do not go out tonight.
So Phong called. All right, we know. Lu Wai Mong replied, fear eased.
To be sure, they would wait until dawn.
Phew. Lu Wai Mong blinked, asked softly, sister, tomorrow do we still leave? She was terrified, speaking of bear and it came. Go or not? Lu Wai Thursday sighed, scratching hair. Lu Wai Mong watched her, probed, maybe tomorrow ask So Phong, let us stay? Lu Wai Thursday hesitated then shook head, we might disturb them, would that not burden us like before? But we can help, raise rabbits, cut grass, lend bows, that is cooperation.
Lu Wai Mong said seriously.
Lu Wai Thursday pressed lips, frowning deep. This.
She finally sighed, tomorrow let us talk to So Phong, hope he agrees to cooperate. She had thought of leaving, but after the bear, half that thought vanished.
It should be fine, we can help a lot. So silly. Lu Wai Thursday flushed, muttered, sister, I need the toilet. Use the bamboo tube, outside is unsafe.
Lu Wai Thursday reminded awkwardly.
All right.
Lu Wai Mong grimaced.
Going out was impossible now. Chapter 215, Opening the Gift Pack. Not done yet?
So Phong looked at the worried girl, wondering if he should set traps and kill the bear first.
Hurry!
Van Han replied quickly, the clay pot was already filled with dried wild bananas, only a few were left unfinished.
Finish it and sleep early.
So Phong spoke gently, his hand slicing bamboo into thin strips. His ears listened to sounds outside, tonight he planned to guard for a while before resting.
All right. Van Han answered obediently, placing the last slices on the engineer's shovel, occasionally flipping them with chopsticks. Do you want to bathe tonight? So Phong looked at the girl covered in ash. The water is not enough, I cannot wash.
Van Han saw the jar had only a third of water, not enough for bathing. Boil some hot water, go to the toilet and wipe with a towel before sleep. So Phong softly advised. She had been frightened by the bear, wiping with warm water would calm her down. In 2 days they would go to the beach, bring bamboo and water, then even at home they could bathe daily.
Soon, water boiled.
The girl quickly lifted the iron pot, poured it into a wooden tub, and mixed cool water.
Van Han took clothes and a towel, carrying the tub into the toilet.
So Phong sat on the wooden chair, eyes on the toilet, still working on bamboo, thankful for having one.
Splash!
A moment later, the sound of water came, she opened the door, looking much relieved.
So comfortable. Van Han exhaled, wiping her face. Sleep now, it is late. So Phong smiled. You also sleep early. Van Han reminded. Yes, I will guard then rest.
So Phong helped her adjust the sleeping bag.
All right.
Van Han blushed, curling inside and closing her eyes.
So Phong chuckled, standing to look through the door crack, seeing it tilted shut. He returned to the table, still processing bamboo, nearly enough for paper-making tools.
Time passed slowly, dark clouds faded, stars appeared.
Aha! So Phong yawned, laying down the axe, commanding, "Mark."
A simulated screen flashed, number 28 lit.
Then a mechanical voice rang, "Ding! 7-day mark, 1 basic gift pack obtained." His spirit lifted, he ordered, "Open the gift pack." Ding! 1 basic melee experience pack. Ding! 1 basic celestial observation experience pack. 3 mechanical sounds rang, each made him clearer. The bear's fear faded.
Without showing emotion, he aimed the camera at the gate, undressed, and slipped into the sleeping bag. As soon as he lay down, the girl nestled close, resting her head on his chest.
"Not asleep yet?" So Phong whispered.
Cannot sleep."
Van Han opened her eyes, still shaken by the bear. He patted her back, gently saying, "Sleep now, I am here." "Mum."
Van Han rubbed her head against him, finding a comfortable spot, and closed her eyes again. After more than 10 minutes, her breath steadied, though brows still furrowed. Knowing she slept, So Phong ordered, "Open melee experience pack."
Ding! Transmitting melee experience. After more than 10 minutes, the transfer ended.
His forehead dripped sweat, eyes closed to arrange knowledge, his body full of excitement. The pack gave him beginner mastery, now like someone with 5 years of combat experience.
This makes safety stronger. He eagerly ordered, "Open diving experience pack." Ding! Transmitting diving experience.
After a few minutes, it ended, this time only a slight head swelling, no great discomfort.
So that is how.
He organized, noticing his breathing changing. The diving pack contained knowledge of breath holding, air taking, and control techniques.
Resting underwater 4 or 5 minutes is possible.
He felt the change, breathing
NK
adjustments
books.
letting him stay longer.
Ordinary people could hold 1 or 2 minutes, after training could reach 4 or 5. One last pack, open it. He thought. Ding! Transmitting celestial observation experience.
He absorbed the new knowledge, this time about weather. By feeling humidity, observing clouds and wind, he could predict upcoming weather.
Like fishermen at
sea, using experience to forecast changes.
Chapter 216, Ready for the main dish.
Lu Waimong opened her dark-ringed eyes, sat up, and muttered, "So sleepy, but I just cannot sleep."
Me too.
Lu Wai Thursday also revealed her tired eyes, slowly sat up, slipped on straw shoes, yawned, and went to wash her face. Neither of them slept last night. Each time they dozed off they woke in fear, thinking a bear lurked outside the fence.
Even when they slept, nightmares tormented them through the night.
Lu Wai Thursday gently pushed the thorn gate, looked outside, saw no bear, then stepped out.
She called back, "Come out, the bear is gone." Great.
Lu Waimong grabbed her cane and hopped out of the thorn fence.
The bear's destructive power is terrifying, Lu Wai Thursday said, staring at the tilted wooden door.
Lu Waimong widened her eyes. Even the wooden door was broken, that is scary.
Squeak. Morning. So Phong turned, waved to the sisters, and asked, "How was your sleep?" "Not bad." Lu Wai Thursday forced a smile, suppressing a yawn. "The bear did not reach your shelter?"
Lu Waimong approached, staring at the scratched door.
"No, I blocked it with the bed."
So Phong pointed at the bed against the door and briefly explained.
"Your courage is great." Lu Wai Thursday smiled bitterly. Though he spoke lightly, she knew it was dangerous. Few could stay calm facing a bear in the wild. "Van Han is still sleeping?" Lu Waimong asked.
"She slept late, let her rest."
"I cannot sleep anymore."
Lu Waimong yawned.
"Rest assured, the thorn fence is safe."
So Phong smiled at their tired eyes.
"It will not rain today." He looked at the sky and concluded. "What will you do today?" Lu Wai Thursday asked. "Build more fence, need many thorns." He sighed.
Lu Thursday quickly said, I will help, it will be faster.
Good, eat breakfast later. So Phong smiled. Lu Thursday blushed, whispered, we will wash first. All right,
he replied. The sisters returned to the shelter.
Lu Mong whispered, Sister, I thought you would discuss cooperation with him. Not now, maybe in a few days.
Lu Thursday sighed and washed her face.
What were you talking with them?
Van Han came out, still sleepy. So Phong smiled, Lu Thursday wants to help build the fence.
Van Han nodded and laughed, then I will cook more breakfast, invite them too. Yes, I told them. He smiled. I will cook now.
Van Han hurried inside.
So Phong also went in, walked to 2 vats of water.
He found a ceramic pot, scooped water with bamboo, washed it several times, leaving brown sediment at the bottom, the starch of Indian canna. He scraped away impurities, leaving gray-white starch.
He repeated with the other vat. One day drying is enough, today we can have the main dish.
He smiled, eager. Half an hour later, Van Han finished breakfast.
She cooked fish soup with 4 fish, rice rolls, and seaweed. We are here.
Lu Mong peeked in shyly.
Come eat, before the heat rises. Van Han called, handing them soup. Fish soup too?
Lu Mong gasped, amazed.
Sit down. So Phong called. Okay. The sisters sat, secretly swallowing saliva.
In the morning, viewers flooded the screen with comments.
Love watching the naive sisters. So Phong is amazing, always has meat.
Compared to them, other contestants do not eat so well.
Chapter 217, 2 Chefs in Service?
Lu Mong lifted the bamboo cup, took a sip and said with surprise, it is coconut water again.
Ah. Lu Thursday was startled, quickly raised the bamboo cup to drink. Even after finishing, there is still more.
Van Han said with a smile.
Really? Let me taste it.
Lu Mong picked some wild vegetables, chewed a few times and liked it. She raised her thumb to praise the girl. This was the 4th meal she had at So Phong's place. Each meal was different and delicious. In the wilderness, without many spices, being able to make such tasty food was truly impressive.
The 4 quickly finished breakfast. Lu Thursday and Van Han took care of cleaning dishes.
Last night after applying the medicine, this morning they found the swelling in her leg had reduced, leaving only a little bruise. You should rest well here.
So Phong smiled, shaking his head. If the leg injury was not treated properly, it would become lame.
No, I will be bored to death, do not let me stay idle.
Lu Mong pouted, looking pitiful.
She did not want to be idle, mostly because she felt uneasy eating breakfast again at So Phong's place without helping.
So Phong smiled and asked, then do you know how to braid ropes?
Today they needed ropes for the thorn fence, and the previous ones were almost gone.
Braid ropes, I know. Lu Mong quickly nodded. No problem.
She answered energetically and started braiding. At this time, Lu Mong and Van Han returned after washing dishes. The 3 took tools to set out.
Be careful.
Lu Mong reminded, although she also wanted to go, her body did not allow. The 3 led by So Phong headed to the thorn forest. The road was wider after pulling thorns before, but vines were spreading again. After more than 10 minutes, they reached the thorn forest.
So many thorn bushes. Lu Thursday whispered.
When cutting, be careful, slower is better than hurting yourselves.
So Phong reminded. All right. Van Han nodded, holding the shovel to cut.
The 3 worked busily. By noon they had cut more than 30 bundles of thorn branches.
Let us bring some back first, the rest we will move in the afternoon. So Phong wiped sweat, tying branches into bundles. All right. The 2 girls agreed, pulling branches back.
This time they walked more than 20 minutes before returning to the camp, stacking branches beside the new shelter.
Hard work, come rest, lunch is almost ready.
Lu Mong stood at the door, holding a bamboo spoon.
Lunch? Lu Thursday frowned suspiciously at her sister, wondering if it would be edible. Sister, what is that look? Lu Mong glared at her sister. Nothing. Lu Thursday awkwardly turned away.
The three quickly washed hands and feet, then sat at the wooden table waiting for lunch. Lu Mong stirred the iron pot, then called, "Sister, help me carry it."
Today she cooked wild boar stew, based on her understanding, adding ingredients similar to those given by the girl before. Lu Thursday came, lifted the pot and said, "It looks not bad. When eating, it will be even better."
Lu Mong pouted, hopping on one leg to the table. She rested her chin, looked at the three and urged, "Quickly taste it, see how it is."
"All right." Van Han smiled, took a piece of wild boar meat, chewed and nodded, "Tasty."
So Phong also took a piece, chewed, frowned slightly, then drank water and smiled, "Yes, the taste is indeed not bad."
Lu Thursday watched, then also ate a piece. Really? Let me try. Lu Mong said confusedly, not remembering if she added salt twice.
She ate a piece, chewed, and her face sank, clearly too much salt. Lu Thursday twitched her lips, her sister surely had no idea how much salt she had added.
Lu Mong's lashes trembled, she awkwardly said, "Well, I will add water and cook again." "I will do it."
Lu Thursday quickly stood, not waiting for anyone, carried the pot back on the stove. To prevent her sister from ruining it again, she added some wild vegetables and a spoon of water to continue cooking.
"Van Han, why do you not teach me cooking later?"
Lu Mong said pitifully. She wanted to learn survival skills. In the wilderness no one spoiled her, everything relied on herself, she could not remain a rice worm.
"No problem." Van Han smiled brightly. So Phong slightly curled his lips, quietly drank water. Chapter 218, Can dumplings be eaten in the wild? Try it, this time it is not salty. Lu Thursday helped So Phong and Van Han scoop another bowl.
Van Han picked up another piece of wild boar meat, put it in her mouth, and said with a gentle smile,
"The taste is really not bad."
So Phong also took a piece of wild boar meat and chewed. The taste was indeed much lighter, without the pungent smell from before.
"Next time I will put less salt."
Lu Mong shyly smiled and began to eat.
They ate lunch for more than 20 minutes before finishing their chat.
Lu Thursday and the girl stood up to wash the pot and bowls, while So Phong took the military shovel and began checking around the new shelter, preparing to dig the holes for the fence.
Key.
After more than half an hour, all the holes had been dug. Once connected they would surround the shelter completely, leaving a small yard in the middle.
So Phong, rest a while. Van Han whispered.
The three picked up tools again and spent more than half an afternoon, working until the weather turned cold, carrying all the thorny branches back.
"You rest in the shelter, I will cut some eucalyptus trees."
So Phong spoke softly with the chopping axe.
"I will go with you, 2 will be faster, it is nearly dark." Lu Thursday hurriedly said, taking the army knife to follow. It was about 4 in the afternoon, in 2 more hours it would be dark. "Good."
So Phong smiled, holding the axe and heading north to the forest.
Lu Mong dropped the rope she had tied, turned to ask the girl. "They went to cut trees, what should we do?" "My God, you even have a weaving machine?"
Lu Mong widened her eyes in shock.
"Yes, So Phong made it, the cloth he wears is woven by me."
Van Han laughed, thinking it over. Making a weaving machine in the wild was really impressive.
"So skillful, then how are these fibers made?" Lu Mong asked curiously.
In the city those things were ordinary, but in the wilderness they were astonishing.
"The fibers are pulled from banana tree bark, then braided into thread."
Van Han explained with a smile. Most of it was taught by So Phong, she did not know much herself.
Banana bark can become fibers?
Lu Mong was even more shocked, not expecting such a thing. Not only banana bark, most plants can be turned into thread, though some are more troublesome. Van Han fixed the fibers skillfully onto the bamboo rods of the loom.
Lu Waimong nodded slightly, watching her movements curiously, then began to imitate.
After more than 10 minutes, So Phong and Lu Wai Thursday reached the eucalyptus forest.
So many eucalyptus.
Lu Wai Thursday whispered as she looked at the trees.
We only need 4 or 5.
So Phong said, choosing the right ones with his axe. He selected 7 or 8 trees taller than 5 meters, suitable for beams of the fence. They divided the work clearly, So Phong chopped the trees while Lu Wai Thursday trimmed the branches. After more than an hour, So Phong had cut down 8 trees, pulling them back to camp before dark. After sunset, the girl put all the dried Indian canaflower into a clay jar, which was so full that some was left to knead into noodles, preparing dumplings.
Rest, dinner will be ready soon.
Van Han said as she saw them return. She took bowls and poured peppermint water.
Who?
So Phong drank a sip of peppermint water, sighed in relief, then smiled and asked,
What delicious food tonight? Dumplings.
Van Han laughed lightly, continuing to knead the dough.
Eating dumplings, that is a good idea. So Phong frowned slightly, standing by watching them knead. Eating dumplings in the wilderness, no one would believe it. Lu Wai Thursday smiled with anticipation for the dinner after a day of work. Maybe others live even better than us. So Phong whispered.
This was unlikely, for before joining the show she had watched many survival videos. No one lived as well as So Phong now. I will chop the dumpling filling, you keep kneading.
Van Han assigned. Good, kneading is easy for me. Lu Waimong eagerly continued to knead the dough.
She had learned many things from the girl, such as weaving, kneading. The girl went to the wooden shelf, took out a smoked wild boar piece, and washed it.
Do you need me? So Phong asked softly. No, just sit.
Van Han waved her hand to refuse. She took So Phong's axe, washed it with soap, then sharpened it on the stone.
Then she cut the boar meat into small pieces, chopping repeatedly. Dong dong dong.
The sound of chopping echoed inside the shelter, axe hitting the wooden board.
Van Han, let me, I am stronger.
Lu Waimong said excitedly, having finished the dough.
Good, I will wash my face.
Van Han shook her wrist, feeling her strength too small. The axe was much heavier than a kitchen knife. She handed the axe to Lu Waimong, then added slices of wild ginger into the filling for her to chop.
Chapter 219, Looking Delicious.
She rolled a small piece of dough into a ball, flattened it with pine wood along the edge. The dough turned thin under her fingers. The girl worked quickly. In about 20 seconds she finished one dumpling skin. This was a skill Yun Han learned in the orphanage, where dumplings were often made.
So impressive.
Lu Wai Thursday slightly smiled, watching her skillful hands. Su Phong glanced at Lu Wai Thursday, his lips curved. In housework, the girl's skills were almost full points.
Good, Yun Han, is this fine?
Lu Wai Meng stirred minced boar meat as she asked. Yun Han checked the filling, nodded, yes, chop some fungus and wild greens, add them in, then 1 small spoon of salt.
All right.
Lu Wai Meng hummed softly, cut the cleaned greens and fungus, put them in the clay pot and mixed. A moment later, she added half a spoon of salt, then put the bamboo tube aside, afraid of adding more.
I will help make dumplings.
Lu Wai Thursday stood up after washing her hands. Su Phong thought for a moment, took some wood to light a new fire outside, to prevent bears at night. Then he repaired the wooden door with thorn branches, otherwise the big bed would again serve as a door.
How to wrap dumplings. Lu Waimeng put down the chopsticks, filling was ready.
Put some filling in the middle, fold both sides, press the edge to seal.
Yun Han explained gently, teaching them step by step. Looks simple, but my hands don't listen, this one looks like a bun instead. Seems not too hard. Lu Wai Thursday made one dumpling, the edge crooked but still decent. Press while folding, use thumb and index finger.
Yun Han showed again, carefully explaining.
Got it, I try again. Lu Wai Meng pouted, focused to retry. Minutes later, in her hand was a fat worm dumpling, folds large like worm segments.
Lu Wai Thursday twitched her lips, teased, "Did you make a fat worm?"
He.
Yun Han burst into laughter, the description was accurate.
Lu Wai Meng pursed lips, replied, "You are the fat worm, this is art, you don't get it." "If this is art, how can artists live?" Lu Wai Thursday rolled eyes.
"Let them call me teacher, I teach them dumpling art."
Lu Wai Meng laughed proudly. Half an hour later, the skins were gone, only filling left. "Just boil it, can make soup."
Yun Han poured water into the iron pot, waited for boil, then put dumplings in, cooking like noodles.
Dumplings floated in boiling water, skins turned translucent, faintly showing the filling. Ah, cooked skin is transparent. Lu Wai Meng was surprised. "Looks like rice balls."
Lu Wai Thursday whispered, hungry.
"Because this flour is from yam, it turns a bit clear."
Yun Han explained gently, stirring with bamboo spoon to prevent sticking. The fireplace fire was hard to control, dumplings could easily stick.
"Add some wild greens, tonight we eat dumpling soup."
Yun Han added greens, boiled a bit more, then put the pot on the table.
"Su Feng, dinner is ready," she called. "Coming."
Su Feng finished repairing the door, fixed bamboo latch, tested, only a bit stiff but fine.
He closed the door, washed hands, then sat at the table. Lu Wai Thursday had already set bowls, served dumplings, still many left.
So soft and chewy. Lu Wai Meng bit a dumpling.
To eat dumplings in the wild, happiness explodes.
Yun Han smiled with eyes curved, mouth full of dumpling.
"Dumplings with yam flour taste quite good." Su Feng ate one, the flavor was very different from wheat flour dumplings.
Yam flour made dumplings smoother, richer, with effects of cooling, detoxing, aiding digestion. Observers saw the scene directly.
"They are eating dinner, Lu's sisters also there, is this cooperation?" Wu Qing Yu asked.
"Yes, both groups live in harmony."
Ha Min nodded.
"But this means Su Feng carries more burden, risk of elimination rises." Wang Lin said calmly. Su Feng and Yun Han lived well, but with two more, food pressure rose, elimination chance increased. But now they live well, even eating dumplings.
Wu Qingyu tilted head, asked with a laugh, "Teacher Wang, did you eat dumplings in the wild back then?" Wang Lin's lips twitched, dryly replied, "No." He never thought dumplings could be made outdoors, and look so tasty. Hamin quickly said, "Watching them eat makes me crave too.
Tonight dumpling supper, my treat."
Wu Qingyu smiled, also hungry.
Tai Wei Ding swallowed saliva, eyes fixed on the screen of yam dumplings.
Books. Looked truly delicious. Chapter 220, The Leader.
The four of them sat around the wooden table, each busy with their own handicraft.
Lu Wai Mong and Van Han were weaving coarse cloth, planning to make clothes.
Lu Wai Thursday was braiding straw shoes, as after many days of walking hers had worn out. So Phong was making tools for papermaking, using 4 bamboo pieces joined together into a square basket, slightly smaller than the cauldron. He planned to make 10 such frames. At night, cold wind blew through the window, making everyone shiver.
"The weather is getting colder."
Van Han rubbed her face to warm herself.
"Close the window." So Phong whispered. "All right." Lu Wai Thursday quickly stood up, removed the bamboo prop, shut the window tight, and blocked the wind outside.
Pulling her coat, she worriedly said, "I do not know how to handle winter."
"Winter."
So Phong raised his eyes to the wooden shelf holding jars, frowning slightly. Lu Wai Thursday followed his gaze, knowing those jars were filled with meat. Her face turned uneasy, doubts rising again, maybe it was better to leave. So Phong turned and smiled, "The remaining meat is not enough for the 4 of us to survive the whole winter."
Lu Wai Mong and Lu Wai Thursday were stunned, their long lashes trembling.
Their hearts leaped with joy. Was that his tacit approval for them to stay?
"Yes, your leg is almost healed." So Phong smiled slightly, pondering whether to deal with the crocodile. You better not mess around.
Lu Wai Thursday smiled, her mood lifted.
Nonsense, my archery is very good. Lu Wai Mong blared, retorting, I even shot a deer and a bamboo rat.
The deer came by itself, and the rat took many tries before you hit it once.
Lu Wai Thursday calmly exposed her sister. Sister, can you not give me some face? Lu Wai Mong snapped angrily.
Van Han watched them, then looked at her own arms, pouted helplessly. Her strength was too weak, she would only be a burden.
You really hunted a deer? So Phong asked curiously.
Lu Wai Mong nodded with regret, but there was a pack of red wolves, we dared not go.
Having deer is good, both meat and warm fur clothes.
So Phong smiled, he had been worried about lacking a target, now he had one.
As for the wolves, just be careful. So Phong, is your archery that great? Lu Wai Mong asked curiously. Want me to show you?
So Phong raised his brow, ready to prove himself as the leader.
Okay.
Lu Wai Mong hurriedly handed him the bow and arrow. I will shoot at the thorn bush over there, later you can retrieve the arrow. So Phong took the bow, opened the wooden door, and stepped outside. The bonfire was still glowing, lighting up the surroundings. He skillfully drew the bow, aimed at the wooden board hung in front of the thorn bush, once used for practice. Narrowing his eyes, he released the string. Whoosh! The arrow shot out, hit the board dead on, and vibrated before settling.
Lu Wai Mong froze, stubbornly said, I can do it too. When your leg heals, we will compete, loser cannot eat meat for a week, how about that? So Phong smiled. Ha ha ha. Van Han covered her mouth laughing, So Phong, I will catch up to you too.
Then you must work hard.
So Phong set down the bow. They sat again, continuing their handicraft. Next we must build a kiln. So Phong thought aloud.
He planned to replace bamboo bowls with ceramic ones, easier to clean and more hygienic, and also to fire cauldrons and jars for storing meat. He would also make other parts, such as water shields for chimneys.
All right, then I will make 2 wooden chairs.
So Phong nodded, showing Lu Wai Thursday how to fix bamboo to the frame, then went to cut wood and started carving chairs.
Lu Wai Thursday glanced at her sister and herself sitting on a log, guessing the chairs were for them.
After nearly 2 hours, around 9 o'clock, So Phong finished 2 chairs, and said, Try them, see if they are steady. Very steady, your craftsmanship is great. Lu Wai Mong happily received the chair, replaced the log, and found it firm and comfortable.